Hello, this is Tony Cardenas with the Indy Real Estate Market Weekly Update. Today I'm sitting here with Shelly Walters with EXP Realty here in Carmel, Indiana, and Justin Griffith with Keller Williams, Indy Metro Northeast.
It's a long title.
It's a long
Someone's
title.
got to do it, though, yeah.
Yeah, I always say this, but you do sell in Hamilton County, right?
I sell everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere?
Marion County and 2 counties surrounding.
Okay, so we won't talk about Dubai today, but hey, Shelly, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, so hey, you guys, let's talk about what's happening in the market today. The showings, days on market. We're going to give the real estate stats. This was one of our first videos that we've done. Let's talk about what you guys are seeing, talking to your clients right now, as in buyers and sellers. So, you're dealing with a you're dealing with a property right now with the construction builder. Let's talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, so those are where we're seeing the craziest deals right now. I don't know about you, Shelly, but like I'm getting some crazy price drops, and on one specifically right now, it's about $50,000, about 10% drop, which is insane. But I think they just have sales quotas to meet before the end of the year. So.
Right, they want to get the house out of inventory, which seems to be the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean the rate's super high, but they're buying down, and that helps out. So
right. So. You were talking about your client, there's a way to do these rates, whether you want to do a fixed rate, you want to buy it down a point, or you want to do a 2-1 buy down. 2-1 buy downs are great. They're temporary. You get the great rate the first year, you get an okay rate the second year, and the third rate, you're right back where you got qualified at. Yep. Okay. Where's the payoff? The payoff in a 2-1 buy down, in my opinion, is, you're really getting to the house a little bit more affordably your very first year. Okay. Yep. And then that person on the that's selling the home, whether it's a builder or a homeowner, they have to pay that fee.
Yep.
Okay. And all that fee it's prepaid interest is what they're collecting. But sometimes that's better than discounting the house a whole bunch. Okay. And it might help the buyer a little bit. But if you can get both deals, if you get a discount and a 2-1 buy down, that's the best way to go.
Yep.
But not everybody agrees with a 2-1 buy down. They don't understand the risk. And really, there's no risk, because if they were get a regular 30-year fixed rate, let's just say, for example, at a national bank that was 7.5, 7.250, they're going to end up at that rate anyway. So they get a discount for 2 years.
Yep.
Okay. Shelly, how you feel about that?
Well, and the other part of it is just to do a point or a 2 buy down, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, instead of doing the 2-1 buy down, you could actually ask your seller and buyer to do a 1 or 2 points, right? So I have a seller right now who currently, our listings, we're talking to the sellers about offering the points instead of.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. Here's the thing. If you do both, okay, you can only do so much on both. It depends where our threshold is and what the economy and the market's going to do. If we're going to be back in the refinance market in 36 months, quite honestly, I don't know if I would want to do pay points when I can get a 2-1 buy down.
Yep.
Okay.
But if you're not the one paying the points, would it be okay for the seller to be the one that provided the point buy down? So if we can go from 6.5 to 5.5 on the seller's dime,
you got it.
There's nothing wrong there.
No, there's not.
And it's not very much. So like in our particular instance, we have a $300,000
remember, these are
house.
examples only.
Right. But we have a $300,000 house, and my seller is offering $6,000 for a 2-point buy down. So
that's subject to the person's credit score, term, and everything. You've got to understand.
Yeah, we have those notes in the listing. But it's just trying to talk about whether or not, what we're trying to compare it to is price drop, or the buyers can't do it anyway because it's still 7.5% interest rate. So helping with the
I think everybody's situation's a little bit different. The bottom line is it's how long the buyer's going to stay in the home. What do they think the economy is going to do? I'm telling you, the best thing to do every day is read the Wall Street Journal. I read it every day. I read the Barron's report, and there's a lot of hearsay out there on all these different websites. But I'm telling you right now, it's the Bible, and then you got to take about 30 to 40% of it and figure out what can you do with it. Because these are analysts. They're talking about the market. They're talking about the rates. So, you got to take it with a grain of salt and understand it. What's the best way for you and your situation?
And that's on a week-to-week basis also, because we've seen so much change in the past 2 to 3 months.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. It's not going to get any prettier than it is today. So if you're going to lock in a rate today, you better start locking. Okay, because I think the ugly's coming, and this is what the Wall Street Journal and some of the top people are saying. Even Gary Keller, right, with Keller Williams, He's saying 2023 is not going to be good. But let's talk about our market right now. Okay. So I want to kind of get into the stats and then we'll jump back and forth a little bit. But Shelly, tell me what's going on in Carmel. What are you seeing? Are you selling a lot of homes in Carmel, Westfield right now?
Well, it's the seasonal thing also we have to keep saying is it is November. And November, December, January is kind of a slower time for us.
Absolutely.
So what I looked at too is showing stats. Because trying to look at what sellers are doing in today's market are they trying to sell their house by getting a more price drops, or what are they trying to do? But the main concern has been showings.
Right.
So we're coming off of people who have heard through the grapevine. Because the only thing I can say is it's not sellers doing this every day that they end up having. Knowing what's going on 6 months ago. They've heard all the news of what's happening, and they were hearing the 60 to 70, showings over the list price and all that kind of stuff. So in Carmel, and I do Carmel, Westfield, Zionsville stats, the showings have dropped substantially. But if we look at the days on market, and so let's just go look at Carmel. So in the past 30 days, the homes that have sold, there were 145. The days on market for Carmel was
145 what?
There's currently 145 that have sold in the past 30 days in Carmel. So that's a lot of houses that have sold.
Okay.
Okay.
Last 30 days.
Yes.
All right.
That's the closing.
Almost felt like we're talking about the My Board report, and we are close. But go ahead.
So the days on market for those homes were 19. That is not a high number. List to sale ratio was 100%. And if we want to correlate that to, as Carmel has been in August, the showings were for all houses on the market was 762. Then in September, mid-September, they were 834. So that was staying the same.
That's a pretty good traffic report.
Absolutely. And that's where people were seeing, that was even though as we were slowing down. But mid-October, it was 184. So we were going down 600 and 700 showings per time period. So sellers are getting confused or concerned about their showings. But if I go back and look at the past 30 days, it was only 19 days on market, and the list to sale ratio was 100%. So what that says is there are buyers. There's a lot less buyers. So when those buyers come through your home, they're absolutely ready to buy. They're very serious. There's no tire kickers right now. So you can sell your house in an average of 19 days at 100% list to sale ratio, but you're not going to get 40 showings. You may get 4.
Right. But here's the thing about that too. When these buyers are shopping right now, you have got to be ready on your mortgage. You've got to be ready on your mortgage. And I'm going to tell you something right now. What people should be doing today, they ought to be pushing the mortgage people around just a little bit and say, hey, I don't want to lock for 45 days. I don't want to lock for 30 days. I want to take my application and I want to close in 15 to 20 days if the other side of the fence will do it, because sometimes you get a shorter lock. Okay.
Better rate too at that, right?
Sometimes you do get a little bit better rate, right? It's more competitive. But at the end of the day, the days on market here in Carmel, Indiana sound fantastic. So we're not going with a lot of the negative news here in the United States.
No, and I just think you have to, just not worry about the past, what we're dealing with in today's market. So
let's go over Westfield stats today if we could.
Well, for Carmel, I just want to say that in the past 7 days, there were only 26 houses listed. 10 of those...
Remember when we would talk about that? Wait a minute. Remember when we would talk about that in February or March? Like we only had 5 or were they sold in just a matter of seconds?
Yeah. So, we were doing about 40 to 50 in Carmel on a weekly basis. So now it's 26. 10 have pended. Currently, we have active 146 between 190 and 5.9.
Okay.
In Westfield, 25 hit the market. 8 of those did penned already. There's 187 currently active, and all price points between $265 and $3.250.
Boy, but $265,000 seems like a heck of a deal today. Somebody ought to jump on that. But when you get to a $265,000 home in Westfield, here's my question: is that a fixer-upper? Is it something you can move into?
And I'm not quite sure on the
depends.
specific. Yeah, and on top of that, it could be a condo. Those are a lot lower. So I didn't exactly see what that property was. The one in Carmel at 190 is a condo. Wow. So those are, the fixer-uppers. Those are, like you deal with those in Indianapolis, all the stats that you show too. But we still have those, and the thing is those are usually a cash buy.
Yeah. So it sounds like Westfield's got some good traffic. Let's jump over to Zionsville.
Okay, so in Zionsville, there's 7 hit the market. 2 of those pended. Currently, there's 50 on the market, anywhere between 300 and 7.5 million. And just looking at their stats for the past 30 days, 35 sold, days on market were 18, list to sale ratio was 98%. So again, showings are down, but the sales are good. And the same with Westfield. In the past 30 days, 118 sold, days on market was 22, and list to sale ratio was 101%. So all the sellers out there what I've been hearing is the strong concern of no showings or very low showings. It doesn't matter. You just need one buyer.
Right. Let me see, days on market. So you're done with your stats. Mm-hmm. Let's jump over to Justin. Let's hit the Indy market. And what else you got, Justin, today for Kyle Morris? That's out.
I got Fishers and Noblesville for
Let's
Kyle
go over
well.
Fishers right now, if we could, please. And then we'll jump over to Noblesville, and then we'll head down to Indy.
All right, perfect. Fishers, we had 45 new listings this week, which is a total of 154 now. Of those 45, 30 pended.
Wow.
And we had 27 closings last week, priced anywhere from 174 up to 625,000.
Wow.
And those active listings, those are anywhere from 199 up to 3.5 million.
Gotcha.
So not bad. Next in Noblesville, we had 43 new listings, which leaves us 115 total right now, 23 of which pended. And we had 21 closings last week, priced anywhere from 168 up to 1.4 million.
168, that's the low number.
1.04, yeah.
168 is the low number for Noblesville.
Yep.
You know, Noblesville is a really good place to start buying a home for, first-time home buyers. The price point's better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seems like Westfield's, obviously 2, and then you come over here to Carmel, it's a little bit higher. But, if I were buying a home today, I got to be honest with you. I'd be looking, if I was a first-time home buyer, I'd be knocking on the door to Fishers or Noblesville. No problem. Great schools.
It is also just spreading out so much. So people are going to Sheridan, and Whitestown has always been. But
I think we're going to have
Lebanon, Cicero.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we're
going to
have to bring those numbers in here soon, because those numbers are that's where people are buying, because they can afford it. So what if they have to drive 20, 25 minutes to 35 minutes to work? It's a great value for a piece of property.
Oh, absolutely.
And the yard might be a little bit bigger.
Right. And a lot of people are looking for those types of homes where they, have 2 to 3 acres. They just want to relax. It gets back to they can work from home. But 31 is a fast drive. You don't have to worry about stoplights anymore.
Oh, I know it. I mean, you got the roundabouts, you got less lights.
Yeah.
It's fast.
Even getting into the city's pretty quick. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you're going in Indy. So.
I was just up in Westfield. I think I told you guys just 4 or 5 weeks ago. It is unbelievable how much construction is up there.
It's everywhere.
You know what, Justin? You and I ought to go up there and take some pictures.
Absolutely.
And do a couple videos, because it is absolutely crazy.
And they have huge subdivisions that are being developed.
Yeah, it reminds me of Carmel like 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
It's just nuts.
Absolutely.
And Shelly, you're up in Westfield a lot, aren't you?
Well, all I can say is I was on the redistricting committee for Carmel School Systems 3 separate times, watching it happen here. All I ever think about when I drive by all those is, what is the school system going to be doing?
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, it's all about schools to children, the mothers and fathers. They can buy a house, get in and out. And I'll tell you, when you go down here to Carmel High School, go down here when it's time to pick up the kids.
No, I live down here.
No,
I don't leave my office or my house anywhere around 4 o'clock.
I know it. I'm telling you what, it's a stampede. But let's talk about the Indy market a little bit, Justin. We're heavy here in Hamilton County. Justin, what are you seeing down in the Indianapolis market, and where you want to start off with?
Well, downtown Indy we'll start with. Right now is really slow. So normally we're having listings, we're having pendings. Fountain Square this week, we only had 3 new listings, which leaves us 35 total, which is really low. Price anywhere from 129 to 670, and they only had 1 closing last week, 575. Yeah. So really slow. Bates Hendricks had nothing new listed, no pendings, and no closings.
What a great area for Indy to buy a home.
Oh, absolutely. There is still 10 active homes for sale in there. But yeah, it's really slow downtown.
What is the what's the next one? I thought
Broad Ripple got next. We had 3 new listings, which leaves us 23 total, and we had 7 closings. All of them were under ask price except for one of them.
That's Broad Ripple.
That's Broad Ripple, 297. Yeah, Meridian Kessler's been completely different.
It's a whole different story
year.
there. That's right.
Yeah, this little pocket's been on fire this year. So Meridian Kessler has 9 new listings, which leaves 28 total, priced anywhere from 170 to 1.2 million. 4 of those new listings pended, and they had 4 closings. All of those were over ask price.
Meridian Kessler.
All of them.
You're only talking a few blocks away.
Yep.
What is it? I mean, I know the homes are bigger, the yards are bigger, but
school's nice. Yeah, I mean, the yards are the main thing. You're on a quick corridor to get downtown.
Yeah, but everybody that's in Meridian Kessler
parks.
seems like they're going to Park Tudor, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say on that,
a year.
that down Indianapolis, we have 2 listings in downtown Indianapolis, and we've been watching the showing stats there as well, averaging 1 to 2 showings a month.
Where are your listings at in Indy?
Just in different areas. One's on Orange and one's on Parker.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just that we're watching the stats and trying to figure out what's different. Showings has now come into play.
Right. Exactly. So
one thing I've been dealing with too, sorry Tony to interrupt, but buyer's perspective is like completely off still. So
I know what.
Previous years, if a home was listed, you knew you were going to pay that. So it's like I have some buyers recently, they're like, oh, we just can't afford it because the rates and also the prices are very high. And it's like when you explain to them, you can get these crazy negotiations where you can like get the price dropped or get like a substantial amount put down for buying down the rate. They're kind of taken back that like, oh, you're not paying list price anymore. And it's like, no, this is a market has pivoted and, things have changed right now.
Right. Well, another thing we haven't talked about today, but you still do have the 5.6 and the 7.6 arms out there. Okay. I'm looking on national rate boards right now. And the bottom line is, you can get into the 6s, on some of these without any points, subject to a really good credit score, a good loan to value, and cheat the system a little bit compared to the fixed rate system and save. When you're saving $200 or $300 a month, okay, and you got something locked in for 2 or up to 5 years or 7 years, okay, you can save yourself some money.
Yep.
Okay, and if that qualifies you or makes you a little bit more more comfortable to buy that home, then that makes that deal get put together easier on both sides.
Well, I think what this is all is coming down to, we absolutely need to sit down with our buyers and have a buyer consultation before we go out and look at homes, because it's not like walking in, look at the house, make an offer, and it's just cut and drive what we're going to end up doing like we were doing. And it's time to sit down and discuss every possible avenue, what you're looking for, what's most important to you, what is, payment. All of this must be, before you even go out and look in the house. Yep. So when you do find the house you like, and you're comfortable with making an offer and what you need to ask for the sellers for help. So the consultation is very important before you just walk out and start looking at houses.
Well, exactly. And I got to tell you that we're going to start a show that really is probably going to be on Thursdays called Money Talk. Okay, for real estate only. I mean, we're not going to be talking money talk for cars. It's about real estate and what the different options are. Okay, and we're going to be doing some demonstrations on screens or boards right behind me here and on television screens, so people can actually see it. They can save it. Okay, they can play it over with their husband or wife, partner, whatever, and then they can take it to their financial advisor. Say, hey, look what these guys have to say, and I think what that will do is I think that will get you some really good information on how to make a good qualified decision. But you're exactly right, Shelly. Okay, people need to have a consultation rather than just a little piece of payment quote. They need to understand what they're investing in besides the house, what they're investing in with the mortgage piece. And a lot of mortgage people out there, they're not clear on it, and they need to be clear with their customer. So when these people take the application, there's no hiccups, they feel comfortable about their decisions, and they go to the closing table. It makes it easier for everybody.
Well, and like you just said, not everybody is created equal too. And there's a lot of agents also that need to be trying to figure out what they can offer for their buyers and be very educated in what they can and can't do and what they should and shouldn't do.
Yeah, there's a big push right now for non-QM loans. I mean, you're getting loans done just by bank statements. You sign off on a 4506, you're not using your federal tax returns, and people are buying big homes on that because some people out there make a lot of money. They write it down because they have to, and now they have to pay a little bit higher rate, but they're getting that creative loan to get them to the mortgage table, and 2 years and 3 years later, they can go refinance.
Absolutely.
But some of these rates and some of these products out there, a lot of people just don't know about them. Next week what we'll do is we'll go over FHA and we'll go over government, and I'm going to bring a professional in. Okay, I've obviously in the mortgage business, but I'm more of on the recruitment side and the development side. But I'm going to bring a couple pros in so they know what's going on. in the mortgage industry when it comes to the government side, because I'm going to tell you something. People are doing FHA right now.
Well, and that's another thing for every buyer to know is it was kind of something you couldn't do. I mean, I don't know how many FHA buyers I had in the past 2 years and or in my listings had the buyers come to us that were FHA. I mean, it was just impossible for them to get a house because of the competition against them.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Okay, so any words of wisdom, if somebody's going out there, you guys, first, you Shelly, first, about buying a home, what should they be thinking about? Interest rate, price, what do they got to do?
I think they just need to figure out what they need to do in regards to a new home, what's important to them there, and then we'll go down the list of the next parts, like offers, what their lender is going to have to do to talk to them about it. But it's just, it is possible. Again, we're looking at this for buyers and sellers. This is not a bad market. Right. It's just a shifting market, and it's not doing anything where everything should just stop and halt. It's just a normal market that has changed just a little bit here.
And what do you think, Justin? What do you say?
I think lenders aren't created all equal, and I think right now that like certain banks that if you go with a traditional bank or the bank that you go make your deposits to every month or something like that, they might not have the loan programs that are available out there that can actually save you hundreds of dollars right now.
Are very, very high right now.
Yeah. So it's like
banks,
find somebody that knows all the avenues that can literally have your best interest at hand, and that single-handedly can make a deal put together that couldn't have done before.
And let me ask you this last question, and we're going to wrap up the show. But here's my question. The people that are thinking about selling right now, we've talked a lot about the buyer side, but the people that are thinking about selling, they got to be prepared because you said 15 minutes ago that you're not getting as many people
the showings
on the house.
Well, so we have 3 listings actually going live today, and it has been a very, very strong conversation multiple times with what kind of market they're going into with their sale right now. Because the whole thing of helping any of your buyers or sellers is to make sure that they understand and they're educated in knowing what that way there's no excuses, or no scares or no like what's going on. I mean, my sellers or buyers are always like, yeah, you told us.
Yeah.
Right. So. Okay, everybody. Hey, if they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you, Justin?
Fishers.real estate or customcontainerbuilders.com, 317-507-5599.
You can reach me on my cell phone, 317-201-2601 anytime.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm Shelly Walters with the Shelly Walters Realty Group with EXP. Sorry.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Thank you, and we'll talk at you next week.